What is up, awesome people of the internet? Hello, hello, hello. I know I'm slightly late, but I appreciate y'all. Hello. Happy Super Saturday for women's college basketball. Today, we've seen a lot of games so far, a lot more games to go today. And I just wanted to do a midday sort of check-ins, just sort of talk about the games we've seen so far, talk about the games that are in progress, and talk about some of the games that are coming up later today. So we got a lot to talk about. But first, we're going to start with the game that just ended, y'all. This was a game between Texas and Baylor. You all probably saw a video I posted earlier today that said that Rory Harmon, the point guard for Texas, is now out for the rest of the season. She had a torn ACL, which is a horrible injury. Like ACL tears have been ravaging women's college basketball all year. And it's not great. So bummer for that. But her team had a game today, a big time game against Baylor, and they just couldn't get it done. Baylor, they were just a little bit too much for Texas today. And I want to talk about that game. We're going to talk about that first, and then we're going to move over to Ohio State and how they got how Michigan upset Ohio State in a rivalry game. And then we'll talk a little bit about South Carolina, talk a little about Iowa and Caitlin Clark. And we're going to get into some Utah, Colorado news as well. All right, guys. Uncle Frank. What up, Frank? Frank says, awesome people of the internet in the house. What up, Kyra? All right, y'all. Did y'all watch this Baylor Texas game? Because I want to figure out how detailed I need to get, sort of like recapping that game. But overall, it was a really good game. Texas lost 79-85, and y'all, the Baylor Bears was doing their thing today. What up, Toya G? What up? We are talking about. We're gonna first kick off the conversation talking about Baylor versus Texas. Texas was at home, and this was a huge game for Texas. They were looking forward to this because this is the start of conference play. Texas hasn't had like a ton of competition, but this Baylor game was really the test. It was a test for Baylor to see if they can kind of hang with the top teams in the country. And for Texas, it was a chance to see how can they play without Rory Harmon. And I think Texas played as good as they could have played. We all know how great Rory Harmon is. Rory Harmon is a player who is she's an Energizer Bunny. This girl she's a mid-range shooting queen. She can hit a ton of mid-range shots. Defensively, she is a lockdown defender, and she just never really gets tired. She's a player who has really led Baylor to be a very efficient team. They don't turn the ball over that much typically, and she just sort of controls the flow. But with Rory Harmon out today, it was all about Madison Booker. Madison Booker was the starting point guard. And while I thought Booker had an amazing game, it just, towards the end of the game, it felt like she just ran out of gas. She ran out of gas because she was doing everything for the team. She really was. Let's see what y'all got to say. Cordy says, without Rory, I didn't see Texas being that great. But I mean, I thought they were good in this game. I really did think they were good in this game. James said, I watched it and had Baylor winning regardless. Yeah, I mean, Baylor for sure had their feet on the gas from the beginning of the game. And it was one of those things where you saw the first couple minutes and you were like, man, is Baylor going to blow out Texas at Texas's home? But Texas got back in the game. I believe it was like 14-2 or something like that to start the game. And it was looking not great, basically. The first play, I believe it was Booker. She tried to pass it to one of her teammates and got a turnover. And it was like, okay, let's see how this is gonna turn out, because she's playing point, and she played point in Texas's last game against Jackson State, but Jackson State is not as good as Baylor, and so some of the stuff that she was able to do against Jackson State, you can't necessarily do against Baylor. But overall, I thought she did well. She ran out of gas towards the end, and this is really going to be the problem that we'll see for Texas going forward, because while typically I would say they're a deep team, two of their best players are out right now. And so that's a huge loss for this team. And, it's going to take everybody coming together and in order to get wins. You have Booker, who's doing her thing. You got Muhammad, who I thought Muhammad had a really good game today. Really, really, really good game today. And it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough for Baylor to beat Baylor. But let's move over from talking about Texas in particular to talk about Baylor and how overall I thought they had a really good game. Let's see. First, John says, SC, I assume you mean South Carolina, UCLA, LSU, and NC State in the Final Four. Interesting. Okay. All right. Interesting, John. Alicia says, hello. MMA Lifestyle says she could see us in the chat. Are folks not able to? I feel like I get everybody who made a comment so far. Jan Michael says, in the long term, playing the point is going to help Booker. Yes, it is going to help Booker. So Booker, she's more of like a point forward type player. She's a player who can play the point, but is definitely more comfortable sort of as a wing style player. She's not that tall. I believe she's like 6'1", and she can kind of do a lot for this team. And in the long term, in the long run, I think having Booker be the starting point guard for the rest of this year, I think is just going to really, really help her development. Yes, we all know how good we've seen Madison Booker and how good she's been so far this year. But having her play the point is going to allow her to develop her handles even more. She's already pretty good right now, but like even more, it'll allow her to develop her sense of pass. There was a couple passes today where she was just like slightly off. Like the angles that she was passing the ball was slightly off and got some turnovers. But I think as the season goes on and she continues to be the point guard, I think she's going to continue to develop. Because y'all, Madison Booker, she's really good. She's really, really good. So we that's for sure that's for sure a player that you really need to be looking out for in the future. Jan Michael says, agreed. Booker is more of a wing, a 2-3 position, but her playing the point will help her understand the floor. Yes, it for sure will. For sure will. Yep. What up, Nolan? What up? Drew says, who do you have winning Defensive Player of the Year? I got Anissa. I don't have Anissa winning Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not sure who is going to win Defensive Player of the Year, but I don't have Anissa Morrow winning Defensive Player of the Year. I have to think about that a little bit more on like who I would pick for it. But like I really do defer towards the way some of the guards have played so far defensively. Like I for sure had Rory kind of high up there until of course she got injured. But I don't have Anissa as Defensive Player of the Year. No. MMA Lifestyle says, I gotta say this. Elisa Peely reminds me so much of a more mobile former Texas Aggie and San Antonio Silvers, Danielle Adams. Yo. Oh my God. Danielle Adams. I was actually a pretty big fan of Danielle Adams. Like I was like back in the day, I was a pretty big fan of Danielle Adams. What happened to her? Because she was in the WNBA for a hot minute. And I think she only played with the Silver Stars, and that was it. But yeah, shout out to Danielle Adams wherever she is. Like she was a really good player. She's a really good player, really good Texas player. Yeah, conference play has started and it's looking pretty good right now. It's looking pretty good. Robin agrees with you, MMA. Nolan says Pac-12 tournament in Vegas is going to be special this year. Yep, it is. But yeah, overall, let's just continue on with this Baylor game. Pat says, "What up? Just saw the end of the Baylor Texas interesting game. Baylor threes and layups, yes." And let's just talk about Baylor because Nicki Collen is doing a really, really good job with this team. And the reason I say that is because she kind of has a hodgepodge of players. She has players that have been transferred from different schools, and Dre Edwards has been showing up and showing out for this team. Dre Edwards, if you don't remember, she played at Kentucky 2 years ago, and she was really good with Kentucky. It was when Ryan Howard was still at Kentucky, and she left last year. I believe she sat out all of last year because of the transfer thing. And this year she's showing people like, hey, I haven't missed a beat. I'm still a really good player. And for sure, I think Dre, she was a great player for Baylor, probably one of the X factors that got them this win. Not only the points that she scored, she had 18 points in this game. Not only the points that she scored, but it was her ability to just sort of move her feet on defense, and also pass the ball to the right player on offense. She's a player who led the entire game in assists today. She had 6 assists, by far led her team in assists. Madison Booker had 8, but for, it was Madison Booker and Dre Edwards that was really doing their thing, passing the ball. I wasn't sure what to expect from Dre this year because she was, she's out all last year. But y'all, she's back and she hasn't missed a beat. And Baylor, Baylor's very good. Baylor is very, very good. M says Collins coached in the WNBA. She definitely knows what she's doing. She does. She probably is teaching the girls the professional way of playing. Yeah, and here's the thing about Nicki. Like she's a player. She, was a good player. She was the coach for the Atlanta Dream. And to me, she made the smart decision. She made the smart decision to leave the WNBA and go to college because I feel like it's a lot. I feel like coaching in college is a lot more forgiving than coaching in the WNBA. Like I feel like, they're kind of a little bit quicker to fire coaches in the WNBA than they are in college. And Nicki had the opportunity to jump on at Baylor right after Kim Mulkey left and started to kind of rebuild her team, rebuild the team into a team that, could compete at the highest level. And she did that. And one of the things about the WNBA is a lot of times you're dealing with new personnel year over year because, you have different trades, you have rookies that come in, all that different stuff. And to me, she's been able to kind of use that experience in the college game because, she has to deal with new players all the time. She has to deal with new players. And it's about how do you quickly develop a team culture and make some stuff happen. So, shout out to Nicki Collen. She's been doing a really good job at Baylor, and Baylor's looking good, y'all. Yes, today wasn't their best game in the world, but they did their job. They did their job and they beat the number 5 team in the country. Yes, Texas is without two of their best players. Yes, absolutely. But still, Baylor got the job done. And there were times in this game where, yes, Baylor was basically winning throughout the entire game, but there were times where Texas was starting to come back. Vic Schaefer was starting to get some stuff working. And Nicki was like, nah, we not letting you back in this game. You are not getting the lead over us. We're gonna continue to keep our foot on the gas and make some stuff happen. And Dre Edwards was a huge reason as to why this team held on. So shout out to Dre Edwards. I thought she had a really good game today. M says, don't forget Dre Edwards hit the winning shot to beat South Carolina in the SEC championship in 2022. She's special. Dre Edwards is very special. Dre Edwards is very, very special. All right, I think I skipped some of y'all comments. Let me go back. John says, do you think Olivia and Hannah are the best duo front court? I mean, we don't know because we haven't seen them play together. So I don't know. Olivia Miles, we will see. We will see what happens when she comes back, but I don't know. I have no opinion on that because we haven't seen them play together. So we don't know. But for sure, Hannah is special. For sure. MMA says, also Hannah Hidalgo, the best point guard in the nation. Fight me, LOL. I can tell you this. Hannah Hidalgo is definitely towards the top. Definitely towards the top. She's a player who, in a similar way to Rory Harmon, is a player who is just an Energizer Bunny. Can on defense, can get into players' faces and get some steals and make some stuff happen. On offense, a player that can get her teammates involved, but also can get hers. Very, very special player. Very, very special player. Yeah. Bjork, I think that's how you say your name. Says Baylor is good. Yeah. Yeah. She does have a chance of winning. Yep. Oh, Danielle Adams plays overseas. Okay. All right. She's in Turkey now. All right. Cordy says, are you watching the Colorado-Utah game at Peely? It's so nice. I hope Utah comes away with the win. I am keeping my eye on that game. Who do you believe are the best teams in women's basketball right now? I mean, number one, the best team is South Carolina. That's for sure the best team. Other really good teams include Utah. I would say maybe LSU is sort of towards the top. UCLA, Stanford, USC. I don't know. USC is very good, but yeah. So those are schools I'm thinking of right now that are that I would say are like sort of towards the top of the list for me. But for sure, the best team is South Carolina for sure. Let's see. Jan Michael says, does Harmon lose the season or can you count this as a medical redshirt year? I don't think they can count this as a medical redshirt year because she played basically all of the non-conference games. Someone who's maybe well versed in NCAA rules can correct me, but I don't think she can use this as a redshirt year. I don't think she can because she's played so many games. Pat Joseph says she's so clutch. Dre Edwards, game-winning 3 Kentucky game, and this game she closed it out for them. Yeah, she did close it out for them. She did. Yes, Donovan, I completely agree. Donovan says Texas didn't do too bad without Harmon, but it's evident she is not running the offense. But I also like Booker running it. Yeah. So here's the thing. I think if Rory Harmon played today, I think Baylor for sure loses, and Texas gets the dub for sure. There were some passes that led to turnovers that I was like, okay, I don't think we would have done that. And there was also some times where like Baylor was just getting to the bucket. And they were even able to capitalize on some fast breaks. And I was like, man, if Rory Harmon was actually in the game, I don't think Baylor would have got some of those shots. But overall, Madison Booker is phenomenal. And y'all, again, she's a freshman, y'all. And we keep talking about how great some of these freshmen are. You have Juju, you have Hannah, you have Madison Booker, you have Malaysia Fulwiler, you have at LSU. I'm forgetting her name, but there's lots of freshmen who are just killing it this year. And Madison Booker for sure is one of those players who is just off the charts, really, really good. And can you just imagine, she finishes this year as the starting point guard for this team, how, like, next year when Rory Harmon comes back, but just how much better Booker will be after having played this time as the point guard. Like, phenomenal. Yes. Facts, James. Facts. Yeah. So yeah. Little Paige Bugs. Today she had 8.6 rebounds. She is a player who could just, roam around and just do little things to impact her team. She does do her thing for sure. Also, Jetta Walker impressed me. Her hustle, steals, and speed. Drew says, who do you think has the potential to force some upsets come conference play and tournament time? I mean, a lot of teams. I think this year, I think any team can upset any team. Like, and I feel like in years past, I don't know if we could totally say that. This year, I really feel like the best teams have to be on their A game or else they're going to lose. And even if they're on the A game, they still might lose if the other team is even better. Like I think, Notre Dame can probably upset some teams come tournament time. I think Utah can make it very, very far, like extremely far. They can make it as far as Peely takes them, as long as Peely stays healthy. I think they can upset anyone. And honestly, if I was any team in the country, the team that I would be scared to play would be Utah. I mean, yes, South Carolina, but like really, 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 really Utah and that's because, yes, overall Utah doesn't. Basically, they run off of Peely, and that's about it. But when she's on, y'all, you can't stop her. You cannot stop her, and that's why if I was other teams, I'd be very afraid to play Utah. I'd also be very afraid to play South Carolina. I think, but all in all, any team can upset any team because we're just in a very interesting time. Like take a look at that Michigan Ohio State game that we're going to talk about in just a sec. I really did not have Michigan winning. I really didn't until I watched the game and I was like, dang. Yeah, Michigan's good. Michigan is good, and they were able to get Ohio State in foul trouble, and their defense just pulled it through. So we're going to talk about that Michigan game shortly, but yeah, lots of potential upsets because really, there's a lot of parity. There's a lot of parity in women's college basketball right now. Let's see. Okay, yeah. TCU TCU has slowly. So M says TCU is going to cause some upsets. They have Jaden Owens and Sedona Prince. TCU has basically rebuilt their team. They basically rebuilt their team, and they have a lot of former Oregon people at TCU. TCU is very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Bjork says, why is no one talking about Baylor this year? Do they need to beat UConn to be considered a good team? Who do they have to beat to be considered better than number 10 in the country? Ask Utah, Miami, and I mean, who doesn't think that Baylor is a good team? Baylor is a great team. I'm not sure, Bjork, who doesn't think that they're a really good team / great team. Baylor's great. I mean, they've been beating folks so far. I mean, look at this game today against number 5 Texas. I think Baylor probably is going to move up in the rankings come Monday. So, Yogurt in the house. What up, Yogurt? What up? Ooh. Keela says Peely went down with a leg injury. She walked to the bench on her own, but hope she's okay. Wow. So if Peely is out for Utah, it's over for it's over for Utah, in my opinion. It's over for them because they really do run on Peely. They really do run on Peely. M says Texas needed this loss to boost their confidence or rearrange some things. Not a bad loss. They played hard. I mean, I wouldn't say that Texas needed this loss. I would say that Texas realized in the first half, after they were down, after they were sort of getting killed at the beginning of the game, they took a breather. I believe Vic Schaefer took out Madison Booker for a quick breather. They regrouped, brought it back in, and they started playing. So I don't think they needed this loss. I really don't. I don't think they needed the loss. They realized how to play differently sort of in that first half after they got sort of demolished to start the game. But yeah, they didn't play bad. Overall, they should hold their heads high because they played well, considering being out your two best players. They played very well. But if I can ask you all a favor, if you can please hit that like button, that would be awesome. It'll help drive more people to the live stream. If you can hit that like button, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we got to check into this Colorado-Utah game. It is neck and neck. Let's see. So I'm gonna go to that game right now and see what the score is. So right now we have Colorado winning 66, Utah 63. Y'all, we are in the fourth quarter with 3:29 left to go. Peely is killing it with 25 points, 9 rebounds. Jaylyn Sherrod with 29 points, 4 steals. Y'all, I just really enjoy watching Jaylyn Sherrod play. She's very good. She's very, very good. And she just has a lot of passion for the game. And I just love it. I just love it. Yogurt says Madison Booker is already looking like a future first round pick. Yeah. Yes. If you can improve her 3-point shot, she would be a solid WNBA player. Her all-around game is very good as a freshman. Yeah. And that's why I think that it's even that her having the opportunity to play the point guard position is even more beneficial to her. Because at 6'1", yeah, right now she's a point forward basically, but when she goes to the WNBA, she's gonna be short in the forward position. She's gonna be short in the forward position at 6'1", and so her moving to be a point guard for just at least for the rest of the season, I think is really gonna help her because that's kind of a point guard or a shooting guard is really the position that she's probably going to be when she goes to the WNBA. So it's actually good for her to get that experience now. And yeah, if she can develop her 3-point shot a little bit more, like, yeah, she's gonna be dangerous. She's gonna be very, very dangerous. Yeah, playing Texas is not easy for sure. So the Utah-Colorado game is actually on the Pac-12 network. So if you have Fubo TV or if you have like there's a couple cable packages that you can get to have access to the Pac-12 network, but yeah, that's the way. Next day Air says, "Oh wow, you went live during Utah game. I don't know what to watch. I'm here though; they're balling." yeah. We'll see how Utah continues to play. It's definitely looking kind of iffy right now. We have Colorado 71, Utah 65. So yeah, y'all, like, what a game so far. Yeah, we'll see how we'll see what happens. Drew says, "Do you remember LSU playing Michigan in the tournament? Angel Reese had like 25 rebounds." I don't remember. Like there's just some games I don't remember. I guess that wouldn't surprise me, but I don't remember that particular game. Stanford 2 is going to be incredible next 12 weeks. It is. Yeah, it is. We have some really, really good games coming up, guys. So I hope y'all have y'all seatbelts on. I hope that you all put your seatbelts on, put your helmets on, because it's about to be a rough ride for the next 2 months. We're gonna see some upsets. So some of y'all favorite teams, y'all teams gonna be losing some games. We're gonna see even more players unfortunately get injured. And we're gonna really see, come March, we're gonna see who can really, really hang and make some noise in the NCAA tournament. Because y'all, we got a battle coming up soon. We really do. We really, really do. Donovan, actually let's go to that. Let's go to that Ohio State Michigan game. Talk about that one a little bit, because I want to say that Michigan had a really, really, really good strategy, y'all. If you don't know, Michigan won this game. They had the upset. This was a rivalry game between Ohio State and Michigan, and Michigan made some noise and they did their thing and they got the upset against Ohio State. They won 69-60, and this was a very close game. This was a very, very close game and a very low scoring game as well. And I would for sure say that a smart strategy that Michigan had was to just get players in foul trouble. Get players in foul trouble, because Cody McMahon had to sit for most of this game. She only played 18 minutes in this game. 18 minutes for Cody McMahon. And when she was in the game, she looked off because she was afraid of getting into foul trouble. She got called on some offensive fouls, and she was timid. She was very, very timid. JC overall also had a rough game. She played basically the entire game, but very, very rough. I thought Celeste Taylor, I thought she kind of helped Ohio State to stay in this game. But overall, it was just a rough game for Ohio State, and that was because of Michigan's defense. Michigan is a defensive-minded team, and they are going to sit on defense, and they're gonna play you hard, and that's what they did. So shout out to Michigan. They likely are going to get ranked after this game. They're likely, come Monday, we're likely going to see Michigan in the top 25 because they played their game. They played their game. And y'all, I just want to do a shout out because Evans on Michigan, this girl, she played the entire game, basically 37 minutes, 0 points, but she was very, very impactful for this team. It's sometimes where you see teams play and you're like, you look at the final scoreline, and if you're just looking at the scoreline, you're like, man, why were they in the game that long? Well, it's because there's ways that you can impact the game that doesn't involve scoring. That's what she did. So shout out to Michigan, the Michigan Wolverines for doing a thing and really getting the W. Really getting the W. Can't find Pac-12 games on YouTube TV. Yeah, that's because Pac-12 games don't exist on YouTube TV. Yeah, they don't exist. If you want to watch Pac-12 games, you need to get Fubo TV. Now, I will warn you because, I also have. There was I was paying for Fubo TV to watch Pac-12 games, while also paying for YouTube TV, which is just a lot of money. Fubo TV has a lot of the same channels that YouTube TV has in terms of sports, but their interface is not as good. So even though Fubo TV has a lot of the games that you definitely want to watch on YouTube TV, the way that they record games is, I don't like it. Or YouTube TV, what I do is on YouTube TV is I have every single women's basketball game recorded, every single one. Like I don't have to remember, this game is at this time and I need to make sure to record it. No, I put in the settings, every single women's college basketball game, regardless of who's playing, gets recorded. And that's something that you just can't do on Fubo TV. And that's why I will never completely get rid of Fubo TV. I would never actually get rid of YouTube TV because Fubo just doesn't do it for me on that front. But y'all, the game is over. Utah has officially lost. They have officially lost to Colorado. So yeah, what a game, guys. So let's actually look at that game real quick. The final score is Colorado 76, Utah 65. So yeah, that is the game. Peely did have a slight injury. She came back in the game, finished with 27 points in this game. Jaylyn Sherrod, 34 points, y'all. 34 points for Jaylyn Sherrod. So shout out to Jaylyn for doing her thing. But y'all, Colorado is very good because Colorado has I would say two, and on the periphery, 3 really, really good players. You have Aaronette Vonleh, who is just like in the post. I think she's really, really good. She's one of those players who is talented, but I don't think she necessarily gets the recognition that she deserves. She's a 6'3" junior, is the center for Colorado, and she just does her thing in the paint. And then you also have the lady known as Jaylyn Sherrod, who is just I think a lot of people were probably introduced with Jaylyn Sherrod. You were probably introduced with her when you watched that sort of the opening game this season when LSU played against Colorado and got whooped against Colorado. I feel like that's when people started really paying attention to Jaylyn Sherrod. But y'all, Jaylyn Sherrod is special. She's such a special player. She's a player who, again, I talk about how Hannah Hidalgo and Juju Watkins and sort of other players, they're sort of like Energizer bunnies. Like Jaylyn Sherrod is an Energizer bunny. She is a player who just doesn't get tired. And she does her thing. She 100% does her thing. And y'all, she's a player to watch. She was 13 of 23 from the field today. 1 for 3 from 3, 7 for 10 from the free throw line. And she did her thing. She really did. 34 points, y'all. 6 steals, might I add. 6 steals. So, shout out to Jaylyn Sherrod, y'all. I'm not sure, how much I can say about this girl, but she's fire. She's fire. She's special. And Colorado has a really, 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 really special player on their hands. And she's a player that could have left. Jaylyn Sherrod could have transferred from Colorado because last season, Jaylyn Sherrod was very good. And I guarantee you, if Jaylyn Sherrod would have entered the portal, she would be at a top school, at another top school right now. She's that talented of a player, but she decided to stay with Colorado because Colorado recruited her. They were the ones that were checking for her before any other team was checking for Jaylyn Sherrod. And I like the loyalty that she has with her school. And, just shout out to her, man. Killing it. And, she's from Birmingham, Alabama, by the way. So she could have went. She was in SEC country. She could have went to an SEC school, but she didn't. She decided to go to the Pac-12 and go to Colorado. So, yeah. M says, anyone know why the Pac-12 will no longer exist? They will no longer exist because of football. So, football is the reason why the Pac-12 will not exist next year. Basically, when it comes to NCAA, football runs everything. And I think the ACC and the SEC were very, very smart to sort of pitch their wagon to ESPN. And as you notice, SEC network and ACC network, they're both ESPN products. And I think that the Pac-12, they wanted to sort of do it on their own and sort of figure out another way to sort of make a lot of money through broadcast deals and whatnot. And they just couldn't do it when it comes to football. And football was not happy with the amount of money that they were going to be making in relation to what a lot of the other schools are making in other conferences. And so that's why they broke up. They broke up because of football, because football wants to make more money. Which, it is what it is. Unfortunately for the NCAA, the rest of the teams have to be with football. So when Colorado leaves the Pac-12 to go somewhere else, it's not just football that's leaving; it's all the sports, which is a tough thing, and it's pretty bad for the rest of the sports teams to suffer because of football. So for football, yeah, it probably makes sense for the Pac-12 to no longer exist. But for the other sports, it's a huge bummer that the Pac-12 will no longer exist. So at the end of the year, all the teams are basically leaving somewhere else. And so yeah, that's your Pac-12 update. So yeah, that's what's happening. So we have USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington that are going to the Big Ten. Colorado, Arizona State, and Utah are going to the Big 12. And Cal and Stanford are going to the ACC. So that's the breakdown if you all are interested. JR says football makes the money / profit that supports all the other sports teams like women's basketball. Yeah, it does. It does. Michelle says, what a game. Buffalo versus Utes, Pac-12 women's basketball round robin. So I believe Utes will win at home in February. Yeah, because they do play again. 12 is loaded from Gamecocks women's basketball fan. Wait, what? Oh yeah, we got a South Carolina fan to live on the West Coast. Yeah. That was a really good game. But y'all, I can't wait for the rematch. We'll see. We'll see if Utah will regroup and get the dub when they play again later this year. But y'all, this is really, really fun. This is really, really fun. YJ says, I'm mad I can't watch Pac-12 women's basketball. Just go to play the other conferences on TV. Yeah. So here's what I recommend you do. There are several channels on YouTube that post really good highlights after the games are over. Sometimes they're even close to 20 minutes of highlights after the games are over for certain games. I highly recommend you all just Google some of those games and see what you can find on YouTube. But yeah, I probably by tomorrow, I think it's called Women's Basketball Alliance. That's a YouTube channel that posts games after the fact. Highly recommend you guys check that out if you really want to watch the games. If you can't, if you don't have Pac-12 network, you can do that. Yeah, but shout out to Colorado for doing a thing against Utah. They have downed Utah. YJ says, thanks, sweetie. I've been watching lots of your videos. Finally caught you on a live stream. Oh, sweet. Thanks for rocking with me, y'all. If this is y'all first live stream, let me know. Or let me know how many live streams have y'all watched. I'm still trying to figure out how often I should do these live streams. I decided to do one today because I was like, man, it's way too many good games to watch to not be able to like sort of talk about it. So that's why I just want to go live real quick, talk about some of these games. Kayla says, I have Sling TV orange package with sports package add-on. It has Pac-12 channels, SEC plus. Okay. Oh, only $53 a month. Oh, y'all, that's not a bad price. That's not a bad price, Kayla. I mean, definitely way less than what I'm paying for YouTube TV and less than Fubo. So. Sherrod went off. I'm a believer. A guy in the crowd whose lips I read. I mean, in Colorado, they believe. They believe. They believe. Donovan says Colorado is dangerous because they have size and a deep bench, not a great bench, but a long bench. Yeah. James said Colorado won. Utah is still looking for their first ranked win, but I'm not worried about them dropping from the rankings. They're keeping the Tar Heels ranked for whatever reason. So will the Utes. Yeah, Utah will stay ranked. I don't think they'll get dropped from the rankings just because of this. But yeah, we'll see where they're ranked. But overall, Utah is still a really good team, and they're just a really dangerous team because of Peely. Again, it really is Peely that is holding the squad down. It really is. Let's see what else I got to say. Next Day Era says YouTube TV better than Fubo. I may try that. It is way better, but you don't get the Pac-12. That's the only thing. That is the only thing. That's the difference. But in all ways, YouTube TV is better. Yeah. So yeah, what a game, guys. What a game. Yeah, Women's Basketball Alliance is the channel I recommend. Yep. That's a really good channel. Really good channel. Oh, JR is a season ticket holder for LSU. Oh, nice. Oh, okay, so that means you got tickets to that big game, the game of the year, in my opinion, at least. LSU versus South Carolina in Baton Rouge. That's gonna be a really good game. Really, really good game. Lamora, what up? What up? Lamora says this is my first live stream, I think. I just listen to the recaps while I drive for work. Well, thanks for so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. Drew said this is my second. Oh, appreciate y'all. James, I watched all but a handful. Wow. Appreciate you, James. You've been rocking with me. MMA Lifestyle says, hey, Quita, what are your thoughts on Talea Scott at Arkansas? Well, she's very good. I will be completely transparent with you. I have not watched a ton of Arkansas basketball, so I can't talk as much about Talea Scott as I can about other players, but one, she's very good, and again, she's a young player. So there's a lot of I sort of talked about it earlier, where I talked about how to, like, some of the young players and how they are really, really good for women's basketball right now. It really is the young players that are rocking everything. She's a freshman, and so far she's doing a thing. She was the number 11 recruit for freshmen this upcoming year. Gatorade All-American, Player of the Year for Florida. She's a rock star. She's had some really, really, really good games today so far to date. Probably the most impressive game was the game against UCLA when she had like 23 points or something like that. So she's really good. I don't have a ton to say, unfortunately, because I have not watched a ton of Arkansas basketball. I just know that they're extremely good. Arkansas itself is not that great of a team, but Talea Scott is very, very good, and for sure is a player to watch. So while we talk about all the other freshmen who are killing it, Talea Scott better be on y'all list, because she's very good. she is very, very good. Let's see. All right, you just called me Nora. Okay, what up, Nora? All right. Kyra has only missed one live. Wow. That's dedication, Kyra. Appreciate you. But yeah, y'all, we kind of talked a little bit about Michigan and how they beat Ohio State. A very, very good game. Upset, rivalry game. Michigan will be ranked after this game. Come Monday, they will be ranked. And Ohio State will definitely be dropped a little bit. I think Michigan really just showed the blueprint of how to beat Ohio State. Just get them in foul trouble and just play some lockdown defense. That's it. And then you kind of got it. We talked about how Colorado got the dub against Utah. Shout out to Jaylyn Sherrod, who just did her thing. It just lit up the court today. She had 34 points. Alyssa Peely had 27 points, had a bit of injury that she had to deal with in there as well. We didn't talk about this yet, but let's get on to it. South Carolina defeated East Carolina University today. And this was a game that South Carolina didn't play that great. They really didn't. They didn't play that great, and they still destroyed the competition. They still destroyed the competition. So we had South Carolina won 73-36, and super chat from Uncle Frank. Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you so much. Frank says, all of them awesome people of the internet for life. Y'all, thank you so much, Frank. I appreciate your support. Y'all, Frank has been like rocking the awesome people of the internet thing for a while, and I appreciate you, Frank. I appreciate you. I really do. I really appreciate you. But yeah, let's talk about this South Carolina East Carolina game. South Carolina had a bad game, a really, really bad game. They were absolutely atrocious from the free throw line. Absolutely atrocious. And still destroyed the competition. They were 18 of 34 from the free throw line, and overall they didn't play that great. They didn't. I would say, sort of towards was it the first half or something like that, where they just weren't. They were kind of held to only like 14 points in that first quarter, and I think Pow Pow kind of helped them. Sort of, she made a couple. I think she made like 3 threes in like a very close span, and got them sort of back in the game. Or not that they were losing or anything, but like it felt like she kind of got their heads back in the game, and then from there on in the second quarter they just started destroying East Carolina. Overall, bad game for South Carolina, but it just shows, how good they really are. That even when they have a bad game, they still beat a team by, this much. So overall, not the best game in the world. I will say, though, that Camila Cardoso, while I still think she is a lottery pick for the WNBA draft, she really needs more post moves. She really does. She really needs to develop a little bit more. I think she's a player who just has a lot of height, and height can cover you for a lot of mistakes. But I really think she needs to be a little bit more efficient. And she really needs to develop a little bit more in terms of actual post moves to get open and make some stuff happen. It's just, yeah, that's my biggest critique about Camila. Tall, great player, but really needs to develop more post moves. Really does. And it would be even better if she was able to sort of step out of the paint and do some stuff. There were times last year when like her and Aaliyah Boston would do some high-low stuff. I would love for her to kind of develop some sort of a shot away from the post, but that's my only thing. Yeah, James said South Carolina has been playing their best ball for the past several games, and they still keep on winning. I mean, yeah, because they're the best team in the country. So like, the best team in the country can have a terrible game and still whoop the competition. Yes, East Carolina is not the best team in the world, but like East Carolina is no scrubs. East Carolina is a team that, it's pretty decent. Pretty decent. Not the best team in the world, but definitely not the worst team in the world. They can hold their own against some good competition. But it's just that South Carolina is just so much better than just about everybody else when it comes to women's college basketball, that they could have a terrible game and still beat a team very badly. So shout out to South Carolina, but they need to get better at these free throws, and Camila Cardoso really needs to develop more post player, more post shots, especially if she wants to make it a long time in the WNBA. But even with that, she's still an easy first round pick, and if not a really easy pick for a lottery pick as well. Let's see, what else y'all got to say? Next Day Air says, I'm excited for the upcoming season. Something tells me these pros are sick of hearing about the NCAA and are about to turn it up. Well, let's hope so. Because I tell you, women's college basketball gets way more play than WNBA basketball. They just do. Donovan says, what's most crazy about South Carolina and East Carolina was the fouls and injuries, but the refs were horrible. Yeah. There was a lot of fouls for East Carolina. Hold on, let me see how many fouls there actually were. Like they had, it was like the first half they had a ton of fouls.
Go to school. Take classes, get a job.
East Carolina had 23 fouls in this game. South Carolina had 18. But also remember, East Carolina's star point guard, she actually got injured in the first quarter. Mika Dennis, Dennis got hurt, and I think that also contributed to East Carolina not playing their best basketball, especially as they went into the second and third quarter. They actually had a pretty solid start, but Dennis got hurt, and then they just kind of lost their offensive identity a little bit because of that. All right, so there's talk about LSU getting some Kobe's shoes. Supposedly they got 3 pairs of shoes. All right, cool. Michelle says, missed free throws, a bunch of bunny/layups. Look like Gamecocks women's basketball was still on holiday break. We need Camilla to play like Brazil summer. I don't know why she reverted. No mid-range dominance. Yeah. Like I want to see more from Camilla. She's tall, so that I think that helps her a bunch for sure. But like, she can do more than I think than what she's doing right now. But even still, even with some of that struggles, like South Carolina still is the best team in the country. They still are. So even with a bad game, they can still destroy a team. However, they need to figure out this free throw stuff because as I keep saying, any team can get got. Any team can get got, y'all. And just because South Carolina is by far the best team in the country, they still have stuff they need to improve on. And if they don't improve on this free throw stuff, hey, you could have a situation in the tournament where the other team is hacking you to get you to the free throw line because they know you're going to miss. I think that's something that for sure should be a concern. I think it should be a real concern for South Carolina going forward. But y'all, usually it's the post players who are like bad at free throws. But y'all, Camilla Cardoso was 4-4 on free throws. So like, she can make some free throws, but overall, the rest of them, they gotta get their free throws in check. But even still, they still destroyed the competition, even with that. Let's see what else y'all got to say. Oh, Bjork said, this is my 4th live stream. I try to catch them all. Very fun to talk women's basketball. Oh, thanks so much, Bjork. Appreciate you rocking with me. Robert says, you said that they didn't play great, but you forgot they didn't play in 11 days from December the 19th, long time off. Yeah, they did have a long time off. Yeah, they did. But again, they're still the best team in the country. So them having a bad game is not the same as another team having a bad game. But they did have a bad game. They did. And yes, they did have a significant time off. But I guarantee you that Don Staley is not going to let them rest on their laurels. They're going to be running. They're going to be. She's gonna call them out on their play today, and I don't think we'll see that play again. I don't think we'll see that play again for sure. M, to completely agree. M says Don Staley is going to be making them run several laps tomorrow morning for sure. Michelle says, especially in a close game, it could come back to bite us. We left 16 points out there. Yes, we have some work to do. Yeah. And to me, that's okay. I think it is. I think that's what these games are for. These games are for you to be able to recognize some of the weaknesses that you have, and then spend the next 2 months working on those weaknesses. I think because if you don't, it will come back to bite you in the tournament for sure. It really will. But yeah, Don is going to make them run, and they're going to work on their free throws, and they're going to be better. But today they were bad. they were very bad on free throws. Kelsey says Kelsey was at the Texas Baylor game. Rory is missed. Texas needs their bigs to have more courage, focus on better transition game, and capitalizing on scoring from forced turnovers. Yes. So, Kelsey, who were you rooting for? I gotta know. Were you a Baylor fan or were you a Texas fan? Because both schools are pretty close together. So while it definitely seemed like a lot more Texas fans that were in the stadium, I also saw a lot of green as well. So who were you rooting for when you were there? Who were you rooting for? Let me know. Let me know who you're rooting for. Ooh, but I gotta shout out to Coco A. Coco A sent the super sticker. It's a hippo character that stands idle whilst his new and powerful body attachments do their thing with the word op in the background. Yeah, the way that the Ecamm it cannot show the sticker, so it describes it, and it's pretty funny the way it describes it. Well, thank you so much, Coco, for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I really do. Y'all been rocking with me for a while, so I appreciate that. But yeah, thank you so much, Coco. Kelsey says, I'm in Austin, gotta go with UT, but Baylor was loud. I could imagine. Like, I wish, sometimes I wish, I'm like, man, I wish I could just like fly to all these games and just to be able to witness what the stadiums are like in real time, because it looked lit in that place. It looked like both fan bases, UT and Baylor, was just getting after it, cheering for their squad. So Rory for sure is 100% missed at Texas. While Coach Vic Schaefer, he says that they still have the same goals that they're trying to attain for the season. Like, the season is not a wash because Rory Harmon is out for the whole year. But like, you just have to recognize that this isn't the same team that UT was last week before the injury happened. And y'all, ACL injuries is something that I will talk about more in depth on this channel. There's been so many ACL tears this season, and I'm gonna put some stuff together to talk about how many ACL tears we've seen, and sort of be able to try to compare it year over year, like over the last couple years, and just sort of figure out what is going on with these players that's just getting everybody to get their ACLs torn. Like, is this like one of those things where we're just more hyper aware of it? So, and because of that, we feel like it's more now, or if there actually is something that has changed in this new generation of players that is causing so many ACL tears. But yeah, we'll get into that probably in the next week or so. I need to do a little bit more research on it, but yeah, we'll get into it, and I'll bit of report out some of the ACL tears over the last several years and sort of compare like what's going on, and maybe even try to get some sort of a medical expert to sort of talk about like what they see could be causing these injuries specifically in women's college basketball players, and sort of what their future play kind of looks like. Because we've seen several players also have ACL tears and return back from that. So it's one of those things where, yes, there's a lot of ACL tears, but also I feel like PT has gotten so much better now that players are able to return and not necessarily miss a beat. All right, what else y'all got to say? Let's see. Coco says, big fan, keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Coco. Appreciate your support. Adrian says, Quita, great stream as always. Appreciate y'all. Michelle says, I feel for UT. Absolutely love Rory's game, speedy recovery. Coach Schaefer, we Gamecocks used to battle against his Mississippi State team. Yeah. Before Vic Schaefer went to before he went to Texas, he was the coach for Mississippi State, and I believe that was a time when what is her name? She now plays for Dallas, the Dallas Wings. I believe that was when she was on Tierra McCowan. I believe that was when Vic Schaefer coached Tierra McCowan when Tierra was on Mississippi State. And y'all, Mississippi State, they were pretty good back in the day. They were pretty good when Vic Schaefer was coaching them. Yeah, he's for sure a very, very good coach. YJ says, I'm in Austin and cheering for UT and Coach Schaefer. I'm a Gamecock fan though. So YJ, does that mean that if Texas plays South Carolina in the tournament, who are you gonna vote for? Are you gonna cheer for South Carolina, or are you gonna cheer for Texas? Let me know. Nolan says, Quita, top 3 or 4 game stadiums on your list to visit that you haven't been before. Great show. Well, I would say a couple places. One, I would say I would love to go to Las Vegas, to the Aces, to an Aces home game. That's one stadium that I would 100% want to see the Aces play at home. Second, I would probably say South Carolina. Their fans are just some of the top fans in the country are South Carolina fans, and they rap for their team. And I would love to watch an actual home game, like in person. Another stadium is, I would love to see UConn play at home. Again, huge fan base, a legendary women's basketball fan base. They're a squad that has been very good for a long time. This year, not so much, but like their fan base is crazy, and like the way they rap for their team is crazy. So I would love to watch one of those games. So Las Vegas Aces, South Carolina, UConn, and the fourth. What would the fourth be? I'd probably say the Atlanta Dream. Yeah, I'd probably say the Atlanta Dream. Yeah. But I hope to go to all those soon. Next year, I should be at a Aces game, and I should be at an Atlanta home game as well. So that'll be covered. I don't know. I got to figure out. I have to figure out a time where I can go to see South Carolina play in person, at home, and the same for UConn. Like that would be maybe next year. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that. But yeah, those for sure are the programs that I would love to see play at home. Yeah, Adrian says lots of ACLs in high school. Also, yes, 100%. And it's one of those things where we don't pay attention to as much when high school players tear their ACL and then they heal up and then they play in college basketball. We don't even know that they may have had an ACL tear in college, just because there's not as much attention on women's college basketball players than on. I mean, there's not as much attention on high school players as much as it is on the college players. So yeah, for sure, lots of ACL tears in high school as well. Also, if you all, if the folks who have recently joined, if y'all could do me a favor and hit that like button, that would be awesome. It'll help more people find the channel. Appreciate y'all. Nivea says, I think the ACLs are attributed to wear and tear. A lot of these athletes don't really have an off season. The body needs to rest and recuperation time. Yeah, I think that is a part of it. Again, I'm gonna do a deep dive and do a lot more research on this, but I think that for sure is a part of it, because not only do they not really have off time, but also I feel like a lot of these players nowadays are like one sport players where, they're not doing 3 or 4 different sports, and sort of training different parts of their body. They're just doing one sport and like heavily stressing just certain parts of the body until it just sort of wears out, because they don't really have a break. But again, I'm going to do some research on that, and we're going to come back and really talk about this. YJ. Michelle's asking the same question. Kentucky Lucky says Iowa fans are huge now. They are huge, but I really wonder that once this year's over and Jaylyn Clark declares for the WNBA draft, I really wonder if all the Iowa fans just wash away. Like, to me, it feels like all these fans, yes, they love Iowa, but it's because of Jaylyn. And once Jaylyn leaves, I don't know if they still rock with this team like that. Like even the fans that are actually in Iowa, like there's just so much fandom around Iowa women's basketball that never existed before. And I mean, not to say that there weren't any Iowa fans, but like to this level, it just wasn't. And I think when Jaylyn leaves, I don't think fans are really selling out Carver Hawkeye Arena and traveling with the team and sort of doing all the stuff that they're doing now. But for right now, yeah, Iowa fans are really huge right now, for now. YJ says, Gamecocks always my top. I graduated from South Carolina and attended South Carolina games a lot. Okay, cool. Adrian says, what about LSU? I think you're talking about the games, the home games I would like to go to for the different stadiums. I think for sure I would love to go to an LSU game. I would say LSU would probably be like 5 or 6 on my list for sure. Since I love both women's college basketball and WNBA, I split it 2 and 2. And to me, UConn just has just a lot more of a legacy. And even South Carolina has a lot more of a legacy, because remember, LSU was really good in the past. When Sylvia Fowles was on LSU, Pokey Chapman was the coach. LSU was doing their thing. And then, I believe, LSU fired Pokey Chapman. Sylvia Fowles went to the WNBA, and LSU just kind of fell off, and they just weren't relevant when it came to women's college basketball. Now they're relevant again, but I think now South Carolina does have that legacy edge over them in terms of the development of the fan base, and that's a similar reason as to why I didn't put Iowa in my top 4, because Iowa again is their fan base, a lot of their fan base is a lot newer because they're rocking with Jaylyn Clark, and they're not necessarily have been rocking with Iowa for a very long time, such as, UConn fans, that a lot of them have been crazy fans for decades upon decades. And then for South Carolina, it's been going on at least for the last 8 or 9 years. That fan base has been building and building and building and building. Whereas LSU, it's been microwaved for like 2 years, Iowa, it's been microwaved for like, I don't know, 3 years or whatever, since Caitlin's been there. So, but yeah, I would for sure love to go to those games as well. I would for sure love to go to those games. Let's see, what else y'all got to say? M says, if you went to Connecticut, some houses have UConn mascot hanging from their houses. Really? Oh, that's crazy. Everyone has UConn merch and went to many games. It's not just the games, it's Connecticut culture. Yeah. And I'm surprised about the mascot thing, but the idea that like it's Connecticut culture to just support their teams is just, to me, it makes sense. Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. Toya says, do a meetup. Oh. How about a Sparks game? Like a Sparks versus Sky game, or do you mean like Because I know you're Aces fan, so, or at least I think you're Aces fan. Do you mean like Aces versus Sparks, or like Toya? Clarify. But yeah, meetup would be kind of cool. That would be pretty cool. Kelsey says, don't sleep on FSU's Tanaya Latson. Facts. Our dog says, once the superstars leave, the hoopla always tends to drop until the next superstars come. Yes. And that's for sure going to be the case for Iowa, but for teams like a LSU, like a Tennessee, or not LSU, like a UConn, like a Tennessee when they were sort of really good. Yes, they would like lose superstars, and then other superstars would come in and fill their place, and so the fan base never really drops off. But I think it is going to drop off for Iowa because where's the other superstar that's coming on after Caitlin Clark? That's why I think theirs going to drop off more than like a UConn or like a Tennessee in the past, or like a South Carolina even, because even though South Carolina lost their entire starting lineup, like they're still looking really good this year. So so their fan base isn't going to drop off because they're still winning games and still have a lot of talent. James says, what about the Liberty? I live in Brooklyn and Barclay Center is only a few stops from me. The energy is real when the home games are playing. I mean, yeah, I would love to go to one of those games as well. Yeah. But again, I was only picking 4. But yeah, if I, in my ideal world, I would go to every WNBA home arena, and I would go to, probably 20 women's college basketball arenas, like in an ideal world. But like, if only I had all the money in the world, then that would definitely be something that I would do for sure. Frank says, haven't still seen Ashley Owusu on the court, but I've seen some practice videos. Yeah, she's still coming back from injury. So we'll see. I have no word on when she'll be back. So we'll see when she comes back. But like, yeah, it's definitely when she comes back, it'll be something, because like Ashley Owusu is a very, very talented player, and I want to see her on the court so bad. But gotta wait till players are healthy. Wait till players are fully healthy and ready to go. And you also asked, what do I think about UConn now? I mean, UConn's fine. I mean, clarify specifically on your question. I think they're okay. Like they'll win a lot of games in the Big East. So conference play will do them well. I don't think they're gonna make a ton of noise in the NCAA tournament. If that's your question, I don't think that. I don't think that. So. Nolan says Tennessee and Texas might be on my top 10 of games to go to. I would say Tennessee for sure used to be on my top. Tennessee used to be my number one team. That used to be my number one team. It was a team that I really wanted to go to back when Candace Parker was there, and even after Candace Parker, I was a huge Tennessee fan for a long while. And now, I mean, they're definitely a shell of a program that they used to be, for sure, a shell of a program. But yeah, Texas would be a really, really fun game to go to as well. Kentucky Lucky says, Ohio State women's hoops in the 80s and 90s were always packed, but I wouldn't say they have extremely excited fans. We have so many sports now, it divides, i.e. women's hockey. Yeah, give me a press badge. Yeah. I should apply to try to I should try to apply to get press badges because I'm pressed technically. I cover these games. Yeah. Yeah. 2025 road tour. Yes. Toy G says, you said you wanted to travel to some games. Just wondering if Sparks was out. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd go to an LA Sparks game, a home game, but like, I'm not that interested to go to Staples Center / now Crypto Arena. Though, I'd for sure go to a Sparks versus Aces game in Las Vegas. I don't know. I've just never been that interested in California as the state. Like, so we'll see. But yeah, I would love to sort of organize a meet and greet, or not even a meet and greet, like a just like meet and hang out and watch the game and talk about it in real time, in real life, and IRL. Awesome people of the internet hang out. So yeah, we got to make that happen. It could be a WNBA game. It could be a women's college basketball game. It could be at the Final Four. Whatever. Let me know if y'all interested. James said, do you think if Juju played lights out tonight, they still lose to UCLA? I think USC has an uphill battle against UCLA. An uphill battle. Yes, I do think it's possible for Juju to play lights out and they still lose. Yes, because it's not just Juju that has to show up for this team. So yeah. But we'll see what happens though. Oh, that's awesome. Jan Michael says, I'm going to the Iowa Rutgers game next Friday to see Jaylyn. I definitely won't be buying tickets to see Iowa next year if/when she declares for the WNBA. Oh, that's sad. Well, I mean, you don't want to support the other players? M, thank you so much. Thank you. M says, Quita going to games means more YouTube videos. Yes. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. But yeah. If I can get to go and get to some games in person, I will for sure be making do a live stream at the games and sort of showing like real time, like, hey, what's going on and how the fans are reacting and sort of doing some actual play-by-play commentary for sure. I'll get on that. Let's see. Toya said, my favorite team so far are the Sparks. I live in LA and the Aces are just incredible. Okay. Yeah. I'll try to get a press badge for sure. James says, support Molly on Iowa. Molly Davis? Yeah, I like Molly Davis. I really do. Molly Davis is a player that has a lot of spunk. Like she's just, I don't know. She's just a fun player to watch play. And also she's very short, but she still does her thing. She just still does her thing. So shout out to Molly Davis for the Iowa Hawkeyes. But also, while we're talking about Iowa, let's just talk about that game real quick. Iowa beat Minnesota 94-71. Now, here's the thing, guys. Caitlin Clark is getting closer and closer and closer to hitting Kelsey Plum's record for the most points scored in women's college basketball. So she is on her road there. She's likely going to get there before we get into March. So especially if she continues to have 30-point games like this. So yeah. But yeah, Molly Davis, she was not that great today. She only had 2 points, but y'all, can we give a huge shout out to Hannah Stokey Huge shout out to Hannah Stokey for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Y'all, she was 9 of 10 from the field. She had 19 points. For sure one of her best games of the year so far. If she continues to keep this up, like, she's going to really help Iowa because, Caitlin Clark cannot do it by herself. She cannot do it by herself at all. But having, I would say, the other 2 best players on the team, Hannah Stokey and Gabby Marshall, though today Gabby Marshall had a really bad game in terms of scoring, but she could still make stuff happen and sort of offensively, continue to passing the ball around and just making sure that the players are involved. Offensively, she didn't score, so not great on her part, but Hannah Stokey did her thing today. So shout out to her. Yeah, James, I do like Molly. Okay, Toya says, let's do it for the meetup. Vegas it is. Okay, so we got to do it. We got to do a Vegas one. Adrian says, if Caitlin goes to the Fever, would you go as press? I would try to. But if I don't know what the process is about the press badges and whatnot, but if they don't accept me as press, then I'll probably just buy a ticket and then just be a regular person and go to the game, but we'll see. I don't live that far from again, I'm in Chicago, so I'm not that far from Indianapolis, which is where the Fever play. So I was already planning on going to some games anyway. This was before Iowa had the number 1 pick, so I'll be at some Fever games for sure. Not sure how many, but probably at least 2 or 3 of their home games. But yeah, we'll see if I can go as press, or if not, if they don't accept me as a press person, then I'll just go as a regular person, buy a ticket, and then just talk about it from there. Kentucky Lucky says, you should have a press badge. You cover women's basketball the best. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Kentucky Lucky. I really do enjoy covering women's college basketball and women's basketball in general. And I for the most part, unless we're talking about the Chicago Sky, which I am biased about the Chicago Sky, but in terms of everything else, I try my best to be sort of fair and down the middle and just sort of call it how I see it and not really have favorites in terms of especially when it comes to women's college basketball. And so I feel like I do kind of qualify as a unbiased source of news when it comes to women's college basketball. So hopefully, when I start to apply for press badges, they'll say yes to me. We'll see. Maynard says, can you do a video on current WNBA players who are assistant coaches? Yeah, I can for sure do that. Yep. Because we do have Copper at Rutgers, Ryan Howard at Florida, Ruthie Heber at TCU. Again, that Oregon connection at TCU. Ariel Atkins at Michigan, and I think there's a couple others. So yeah, I will for sure do that. And yeah, Brianna Jones is at Maryland. So yeah, lots of former college players, current WNBA players that are coaching in women's college basketball. Robert says only the post players are getting to the free throw line, not their guards or best free throw shooters. Most post players are not a what? Okay. M says, does Chicago have an NCAA college basketball team? Yeah, we have a couple. So we have Loyola Chicago. We have Northwestern, which is technically in Evanston. So, I mean, it's basically Chicago, north of Chicago. There is Chicago State University that has a team as well. I do plan on going to at least one Chicago State game. So, yeah. Mama Smurf says, are you going to watch the LSU game tonight? Probably not. I probably will not watch that game tonight, primarily because there's just a lot of other games that are happening today. I do want to make sure that I am well-versed in what happens with this UCLA-USC game that's happening today. So I probably will not watch the LSU game. Or if I do, I'll watch it later. But I definitely won't watch it live. There's just a lot of women's college basketball to watch, so no. Kentucky Lucky says Iowa, the team as a whole, had pretty evenly divided shooting and rebounding in first half. Clark, of course, still most. Gabby's still in the slump. Yeah, I think Gabby will be fine. Gabby is a player that can, for sure, she can play. Like, this is not a thing where I think anybody should doubt Gabby Marshall's playing ability. Gabby Marshall can score. Right now, she's going through a huge slump. She's gone through a slump before. But come tournament time, I think Gabby Marshall will be fine. She'll be just fine. But guys, I think that might be the stream for today. Is there anything else you all want to talk about before we head off? Kayla says Chicago State, blessings to you. They are like 100. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about Chicago State. Chicago State is one of the rare, I think they may be the only Division I team in women's college basketball that does not have a conference. They're conferenceless. So Chicago State plays whatever games that they can play. And the fact that they are conferenceless means that some of the top players around the country, they will not go to Chicago State because Chicago State doesn't have a conference. That means basically none of their games are really on TV or available online. So they don't have the toughest competition. But I will tell you, while Chicago State loses a bunch of games, I think they are a team of fighters. And while they lose, they still hustle a lot, and they try their best. They're not good, but they're a team that just doesn't give up. And I do think it's important to support squads that are not sort of at the top of their game, right? Like you have there's a lot of fans when teams are winning, but then when teams are not doing that well, it's like, the morale goes away because fans go away, and for teams to sort of not see a ton of people in the stands and just, I don't know, there's like the overall morale of the place to be down. Like I want to make sure that I am not just watching the best of the best play, but I'm also watching and supporting, players who you'll never hear talked about on ESPN, and I think yes, you could talk about UConn, you could talk about South Carolina, you could talk about all these other players, all these other teams. But I'm definitely going to go to a couple of Chicago State University games because, while they haven't, I don't think they've won a game so far this year, but they for sure hustle, and they for sure try to make some stuff happen. So shout out to all the players on Chicago State University women's basketball team. They are trying to do their thing, and they're conferenceless. So like that's for sure a hurdle that they have to deal with. Let's see what else y'all want to talk about before we go. Let's see. Kentucky Lucky says some paper or small station / news agency could have you as a contributing analyst or writer. I mean, sure. I mean, that would be cool. I have no idea how any of that stuff works, so I don't know. But I guess email me if you want, if you're a part of a org and want to have someone talk about women's basketball. Like I'm one of those people who I am down to talk to anybody about women's basketball at any time on any platform. So yeah, if somebody wants me to talk about women's college basketball or WNBA or like whatever, I'm down. Hit me up by emailing me. Yeah, Sarah says Caitlin Clark is the Big Ten all-time leader for assists. Yeah, Caitlin Clark is she's very good. She's very good. And she's for sure going to hit a Kelsey Plum scoring list and is going to, she's going to have a record that is going to be hard to beat. Because not only is she a all-time scorer, but also she's a really good passer as well. A really, really good passer. All right, guys. I think we are just about done for the day. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about? Anything else y'all want to talk about before we go? M says, didn't watch any of these games live, so thank you for this live. Yep, thanks for watching. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I'm one of those people who watch 2 games at one time. I have both games like side by side. Like well, the first two games of the day was the first 2 games that I watched sort of side by side was the South Carolina versus East Carolina game, and it was the Michigan versus Ohio State game, and I had them both up. And then like there was other games happening too, and I was sort of keeping track about. So like there's a lot of games happening, and it is my goal to make sure that I am well versed in everything that's happening, so that way I can be able to do lives and tell y'all what happened if y'all didn't get a chance to watch the game. Kentucky Lucky says, who wins tonight, USC or UCLA? I think UCLA. Yeah. Even if Juju goes lights out and scores a ton of points, I still think UCLA has it. So, yeah. But we'll see. We will see what happens. You never know. Kayla says Captain Will has credentials for South Carolina. Oh, really? That's cool. Shout out to Captain Will for getting credentials. That's awesome. So I'm sure that you can get one for DePaul or UIC or something. Yeah, I'll try. I'll try. See what they say. Because not everybody takes YouTubers seriously. And like I'm not that big of a channel, so who knows if they'll be like if they'll approve or not. But like I'll try. Josh says, how do you feel about Philadelphia? Josh, I don't know what you mean. You mean the Philadelphia Eagles? Like, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. Do you mean about Philadelphia getting a WNBA team? Like, I don't know what you mean about that. But please clarify. Kentucky Lucky says, agree, support local women's teams who give it all. Facts. Yeah, because not everybody can be a top 25 team in the country. But if there's a local team in your market, and this is something that I'm trying to be better at, and going to some of these games, like I already got my tickets for a DePaul game. I'm going to a Chicago State game. I'm going to try to go to a Northwestern game. I'm going to go to a UIC game. Like I'm going to try to watch a lot of these teams that are local to me and support and financially support by paying for a ticket. And just to support, because like not everybody is a top player on a top team, but I love women's basketball. So I'm going to support women's basketball regardless of what level it is and regardless of how good the team is. I'm going to support, and I'm going to talk about it. So after those games, I will do some recaps of those games, and y'all, no one may watch, the videos may have like, 10 or 12 views on it, but I think it's important to cover some of the smaller teams as well. While we cover the big teams, it's important to cover the small teams because all teams matter, all players matter. And I think all around the women's game, we just need to support. We really do need to support. Toya, speaking of any more videos with my mom, yes, me and my mom recorded a New Year's Eve special episode. It is dropping tomorrow at 6:00. So yeah, we recorded it already. We're talking about We're talking about the top plays from 2023, specifically focused on the Chicago Sky, but also we talk about the most memorable moments of 2023. So that's women's college basketball, that's WNBA, that's everything. So if y'all want to watch my mom, again, she's going to be on tomorrow. The episode drops tomorrow at 6:00. This is a special New Year's Eve episode. So check that out. Toya, my mom will be on tomorrow. Let's see what else I got to say. Mary Jo says, you're doing a great job covering the sport. I admire your work. I hope more and more success will follow. Thank you so much, Mary Jo. I really appreciate it. It really is my desire to support women's college basketball, WNBA, all things women's basketball, because these women are doing their thing. And I love it, and so I want to talk about it. And I appreciate y'all for y'all support. I really do appreciate y'all supporting me. I really do. Let's see. Nivea says, what streaming service do you use? I use a lot. YouTube TV. My Fubo TV subscription literally just ended. So I think I'm gonna get it back so I can watch tonight's game, USC versus UCLA. I also do Prime. I also pay for Prime Video, Paramount Plus, because I watch a lot of women's soccer, and Paramount Plus has a lot of that on there. And so yeah, those are the ones. Also pay for ESPN Plus as well to watch a lot of games as well. So yeah. I subscribe to a lot of streaming stuff so I can watch primarily women's college basketball. And also some women's soccer in there as well. Yeah, Linda. I love women's basketball, period. Facts. Josh says Philadelphia for the WNBA. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if Philadelphia can get a WNBA team. That'd be cool. I'd support it. But I feel like they could probably handle a WNBA team in terms of the fan base. But yeah, we'll see. Yes, AU Pro Hoops. Yes, I will for sure be watching some AU Pro Hoops games this season. I don't think I'll actually be able to go. It's in Dallas, I believe, this year. I won't be able to actually go to any of the actual games in real life, but I will be watching, hopefully, all the games or as many games as I possibly can online, and I'll be for sure making sure to have some coverage of it for sure. Kayla says, before I go, can you do a video on programs who produce the most WNBA players? Yes. 100% Kayla. Can do. Yep. We got that Bay Area team in 2025. Yep. M says, I'm watching all the videos. Women's basketball has my heart. Appreciate you. Toya says, we need a video on how to afford tickets if we can't get season passes. What do you mean? Can you specify for WNBA, for women's college basketball, for both? For this is for AU hoops. Let me know. Let me know what this is about. But yeah, I can make it whatever videos y'all want me to make. This is a community, so like really, y'all give me y'all suggestions, and I'll try to make it happen. Bjork says, I'm a huge Baylor fan. 3 national titles in the Mulkey era had us spoiled with attention. It's been quiet, no attention, few and far between in the start of the Collins era. So we appreciate the love. Yeah, I mean, Baylor's good. And so anybody who's sleeping on Baylor, y'all crazy. y'all crazy if y'all sleeping, because, Baylor is undefeated for a reason. I'm just saying. They're undefeated for a reason. And says Vegas meetup. Let's see. I think this might be it, y'all. Kentucky Lucky is taking USC. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Okay, Kyra's gonna be the number one fan if Philly gets a team. So, Kyra, for your sake, I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that your city gets a team. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all so much for watching this live stream. I know we've been on for a while, but I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Let's support women's college basketball. Let's support women's basketball in general, whether that's you going to a high school game in your local area, whether that's you going to a grammar school game in your local area, whether that's going to a women's college basketball game of a team that is not nationally known. If you can, support wherever you can, because, these women are hooping. Whether or not they get recognition on a national scale or not, these women are hooping, and they deserve our support. So let's support them. Let's support them. Kentucky Lucky says, awesome recap on you. Yep, we'll have a recap. So I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Me and my mom will talk to y'all tomorrow for our New Year's Eve recap video. Again, that's I'm actually trying to decide whether or not we should drop that at 6:00 because it's New Year's Eve, or if I should just make that go out earlier. We'll see. So yeah. Maybe I'll put that out at 5:00, so y'all could probably watch it before y'all do whatever y'all doing for New Year's Eve. I don't know what people do these days for New Year's Eve, but I hope y'all have a very safe New Year's Eve, a very healthy New Year's Eve as well. Just rock out safely. Might I add, Josh wants to end the video off saying it's a Staley year. I mean, it's looking like it. It's looking like it. Nolan says, appreciate your hard work, Quita. Thank you. I appreciate you rocking with me, Nolan. Really do. All right. Let's finish off with this. Jason says, hey, Q, I'm glad to make you here with all the wonderful people of the internet. I've been trying to make sure I get to watch USC versus UCLA. I cannot believe it's not covered on ESPN. Yeah, it's because it's a Pac-12 game, and the Pac-12 does not have, the Pac-12 does not have a relationship with ESPN. So there really isn't really any Pac-12 games that are going to be on ESPN. I think there's 5. And if you all watched the video I made a couple days ago, I actually broke down all the Pac-12 games, or like the major ones to watch, and almost all the ones to really watch is on the Pac-12 network, which is not an ESPN network. So you cannot watch it on ESPN, unfortunately. But again, if you don't have the Pac-12 network, I will actually do a recap of the game. I'll probably do that on Monday's game. So, Monday's show for Women's Basketball Weekly, I'll probably fully recap it there. Depending on how the game goes, I may do like a special recap tomorrow morning, but we'll see. We'll see how the game goes. But yeah, I'll have a recap for you at the very least on Monday. Also, I would highly recommend you look at Women's Basketball Alliance and other YouTube channels that put the game out there. So hopefully that helps, Jason. M says to do that the show with my mom earlier. I live on the other side of the world and have to sleep. Okay, maybe I could try to get that out. I don't know, 5? This is 5 Central better? I don't know. I put it out earlier. Maybe I can do I will do a poll and just check my community tab in like 10 minutes. I'll put a poll out there to see when y'all would like me to get that video dropped with me and my mom. So yeah. Kyra says, love the channel, much success to you in the new year. Thank you so much, Kyra. Appreciate you. Yeah, we'll get my mom on a lot more broadcasts in the future. So yeah. All right, y'all. That is it. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Mary Jo, Linda, Toya G, Jason. Thank you again to Frank, to Coco, to M for the super chats and super stickers. I really appreciate y'all support. I think that's it, guys. I ain't got nothing else to say. Again, be happy, be healthy as we go into this new year. Be safe, and continue to rock out for women's basketball. Until next time, guys, I will see y'all later. Be nice to each other. And until next time, guys. Bye.